Thinking about building a house and want a better idea of how much it'll cost you? Well, you've come to the right place. By the end of this video, you will know a quick and easy way to estimate your home build, as well as how to break it down to get a more accurate budget. I'm Dan Nodge, founder of Emmett Leo Homes, a luxury home building company and your insider into the world of building and redesigning luxury homes. Quick reminder, subscribe by clicking on the red button below and make sure to click on the notification bell right next to it to make sure you get the newest videos as soon as they come out. Okay, first things first. For those of you who watch videos for like 30 seconds, I'll give you a gift and then you can click on that cat video right next to me. You are watching this because you want to know how to easily price out your home build. Building a house will cost you anywhere from $150 to $500 a square foot, depending on its size, labor, the location, and the materials you choose. So if you're building a 2,200 square foot 2-story with an unfinished basement, and you already own the lot, expect to pay anywhere from $300,000 to $1 million plus to build it from start to finish. $150 to $500 is a big difference, you ask? And you'd be right. But you wanted something quick, didn't you? So if you're building a base model, nothing special or fancy, a new well-built home, you'll be safe to estimate about $150 a square foot. $300 a square foot, you're getting into the nicer show homes that the tract builders build. They'll have like the butler's pantry, maybe a shiplap feature, nice garage doors. Here you can get into like the custom cabinetry territory. $500 a square foot, on the other hand, is where you get everything custom. High-end finishes, high quality, and typically things in a house you wouldn't find in your standard home, like secret rooms, maybe an elevator, or a copious amount of important finishes that you just have to have. Take into consideration that I typically build and sell my homes for about $500 plus a square foot. There are many factors that come into play that often people don't think about or that will get you above that range. So there you go. There's a quick answer. Now for those of you who want to dive deeper into costing it out, stay with me here. You may want to take notes. You may not want to have anything planned, but I will walk you through it and hopefully you'll have a much better idea, an in-depth idea after. So there are so many differing factors affecting home building pricing that it's impossible to have a one-size-fits-all that works everywhere. Instead, there's some important factors that you need to consider if you want to dive deeper and get a clear view of estimating your build. So I've broken these down into 4 factors. First one is location, second one is size, then labor, then material. So let's look at location. A hot market is exactly that. Things cost more. It's more expensive to build, it's more expensive to buy, and it's more expensive to hire builders. If you're in a hot market, you have to realize that your labor costs, the lot costs, and even material costs might increase substantially. For an easy example, think about the difference in building a home in Orange County, California versus Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. A 3,000 square foot 2-story home might go for $600,000 in Saskatoon, whereas it might be $6 million in Orange County. Size. Building a smaller home will generally mean it will be cheaper, but remember that you will always have a base price to get somebody on site. Building bigger might mean more complex construction, uncommon material, and even specialized labor. Brings us into labor. You should know that builders are not all the same. Any builder can build you a house, but not everyone can build you a well-built house. If there's labor shortages, be prepared to pay a premium to get your project moved to the head of the line. Material. They say that 80% of the home is invariable, meaning that cost is pretty much the cost. The same 2x4 costs the same in an average house as in a luxury house, and the same concrete used costs the same there too. Where the biggest jump comes in the finishing costs. That 20% of variable cost in finishes can mean the difference between a $900,000 build and a $1.2 million build. Do you know what your market is doing in these important factors? Type yes or no in the comment section below and ask a question if you want to get more specific. Now, let's jump into budgeting an actual build. In this example, we're going to go with an average 2,200 square foot home in an average neighborhood. This is not a luxury build and definitely not in a hot market or upscale neighborhood. If you need me to break down the cost of a luxury build, let me know in the comments below and I'll do that in another video. Initial costs. For this one, we're gonna say about $14,000. Builders, architects, designers, engineers, plans, permits, all things you might need in order to start moving forward. You can either draw the plans yourself, buy them from someone, maybe online, or have them custom made through a builder, designer, or architect. There's a video that I made that I'll actually link down below about how to choose the right people on your team. Depending on how crazy you get, your plans could cost anywhere from $3,000 to maybe $25,000. For this sample home, expect about $8,000 for design, drawing, and stamping. Okay, then you have your permits, which will run you anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 depending on your location and size of the project. Site prep and foundation. For this, we're gonna be about $35,000. Now we get to the fun part, the actual work. First, we have to prep the site. We do this by calling in the surveyors to mark exactly where we're gonna be placing the house, which allows us to know if we need to take any trees or move massive rocks, things like that. They'll also stake out exactly where the hole needs to be dug for the foundation. A surveyor can cost anywhere up to $5,000 for the entire job, maybe even more. Then you have to dig the hole for the foundation. This will cost you around $1,500 to $2,500 in this example. We then need to lay out and pour the foundation. In this example, we have piles that go in first, followed by a 9-foot foundation wall. At 2,200 square feet, this foundation that we estimate around $35,000, including all labor and material. Make sure that we think about any piles or piers that have to go underneath, because that's gonna greatly affect your foundation cost. Always consider where you guys are digging, what type of ground, how deep you're going, and the possibility of massive rocks that will slow your digging down, really. All these things create more time and money into your planning. Remember that the bigger the basement, the more expensive it'll be. Don't confuse the square footage of your foundation as much as the cost that it is when you build up. So it's not the same cost per square foot. Okay, next we get into framing. $55,000. So you have a foundation. That's awesome. Now we have to frame a house on top of it. Typically, most of the homes will be entirely framed out of wood. This makes up the skeleton of the home that comprises of building walls, floors, and a roof system. This is going to be a hefty bill, as the lumber package is almost entirely what your home is made of. So let's think about it. We need windows and doors. In this home, we're going to say about $32,000. To bring this house to lockup, and lockup is where no one or thing can get inside the home, you'll have to have your windows and doors installed. Usually, this includes the shingles to protect the entire structure should it rain, so that rain can't get in. Expect your windows and door package to be around $22,000. This number can vary greatly, but a standard package will have enough windows for your house to be light and bright, and your doors will actually be decent. You can cheap out here, don't get me wrong, but in the middle of the winter, you'll feel it. Also, consider that your shingles are going to cost around $10,000 to install on this 2-story home. Next, we've got mechanical. Mechanical is electrical, plumbing, heating, and cooling. We're going to say around $57,000, $57,500. So for all of these are preliminary costs, and then there are finishing costs. We're going to put them all together. Okay, so an electrician might put a box in the wall to start with, and then he'll come back and cover it. For your electrical, expect to pay around $20,000. So they're going to bring power to the house, they're going to run it through with outlets, lighting, low voltage, anything else you need. This will include installing finishing lighting and any other finishing that they're required to do. Next, we got the plumber. Expect to pay your plumber about $20,000. Keep in mind that costs vary greatly in every area, so you could definitely go higher or lower depending on what quality you choose, especially on your finishing. Finally, there's the heating, venting, and air conditioning, or also known as your HVAC. This will be around $17,000. This ensures that you're cool during the summer and warm during the winter. Exterior finishes. For this home, we're gonna say around $38,000. So the exterior finish is very important. A water shedding, breathable membrane, followed by a harder covering that protects your home from Mother Nature. Now, make sure that your house wrap is sealed up properly and that all openings, that's windows and doors and anything else, are double checked to ensure that your installers are paying close attention, because those areas are where all the leakage happens. Exterior finish also includes soffits, fascia, and eaves troughs to make sure that your water management is taken care of. Next, we've got a hefty one. $85,000 for interior finishes. Now, interior finishes is broken down into many different line items. This will include drywall insulation and poly. For that, we've said $22,000. Paint and wall finishes, $15,000. Flooring, $18,000. Now, millwork, which comprises of your cabinets and storage in the kitchen, bathrooms, and bedrooms, that's $27,000. Your countertops, $3,000. And appliances is around $5,000. See? Told you you're gonna have to write this down. Just rewind it if you missed it. It's fine. Of course, this is the expense that can vary the greatest from person to person. Be careful as you move through each line item. Moving from $7 a square foot to $9 a square foot will rack up a quick $4,400 difference. Want to put a lot of tile in your house? Do you really want that wolf range? Quick expenses like these could blow your budget so fast. Okay, then we're gonna put in a provision called general provisions and miscellaneous. That's gonna be about $25,000. There are quite a few things that don't really fall into labor and material. These are normally things you might not think of. Where are the workers gonna use the bathroom? How much is the garbage bin on site gonna cost? Are you paying for an on-site supervisor? One of the costs that usually gets overlooked by the DIYer or the build-it-yourselfer is the water and sewer connection and electrical. Generally, the utility companies will choose the easiest location to hook up, but if you decide that you want it somewhere else, you might have to pay a little extra. Okay, so let's total it up. So as you can see, the total cost to build this 2,200 square foot home is $341,000 and change, or $155 a square foot. Can you build this for cheaper? Sure. Can it cost you way more if you make mistakes here and there? Absolutely. But what I hope for you in this video is that it gave you a great understanding of what goes into a home and what to expect to pay for them. What did you guys think? If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button below, share it, or tag with a friend and leave a comment. What was your biggest takeaway? Do you still have questions? Let me know and I'll try to answer it as best as possible. If you want to see some more luxury projects, make sure to check out my website, emmettleohomes.com, found in the description below, where you can get your free copy of my luxury home planning guide.